Have you ever wondered if we're looking at cancer all wrong? For decades, we've been told it's a random malicious disease, a cellular lottery gone bad. But what if that's not the full story? What if cancer is something far more complex, a desperate survival mechanism our own bodies initiate? This is a journey into a radical new way of thinking about one of humanity's oldest adversaries. Today, we're exploring a fascinating, and for some, controversial idea that cancer isn't just a disease of mutation, but a response to a hostile environment within our bodies. Imagine a cell, just one single cell, under relentless attack. It's starved of oxygen, poisoned by toxins, and constantly inflamed. It's in a state of emergency. Faced with the choice of dying or adapting, what does it do? Some researchers propose it chooses to survive. It rewinds its evolutionary clock, reverting to a more primitive, resilient state. This is the core of the atavistic theory of cancer. Think of it like this. Ancient, single-celled organisms lived in harsh environments. They had to be tough, self-sufficient, and able to multiply quickly to ensure survival. This new theory suggests that a cancer cell reactivates these ancient survival programs. It's not trying to destroy the body. From its perspective, it's desperately trying to keep its own cell line alive in what it perceives as a catastrophic environment. It becomes a master survivor, a cellular rebel with a cause. So, how does this transformation happen? The cell switches its power source. Healthy cells use oxygen to create energy efficiently, a process called oxidative phosphorylation. But when a cell is under extreme stress and oxygen is scarce, it can switch to a less efficient, but much faster and more robust method called glycolysis. This is the same fermentation process yeast uses. It's an emergency backup generator, allowing the cell to produce energy and multiply rapidly even in a damaged, low-oxygen neighborhood. This metabolic switch is a hallmark of almost all cancers. These aren't just rogue cells, they're incredibly sophisticated. They build their own blood supply lines to get nutrients, a process called angiogenesis. They become immortal, ignoring the normal signals that tell a cell it's time to die. They even learn to cloak themselves from the immune system, our body's natural police force. From this perspective, these aren't random malfunctions. They are calculated, strategic moves for survival. So, what puts our cells in this state of emergency in the first place? The triggers are often the usual suspects we hear about, but now we can see them through a different lens. Think of chronic inflammation. It's like a low-grade fire constantly burning in your body. This could be from a poor diet, persistent infections, or environmental toxins. This constant red alert state puts immense pressure on cells, pushing them toward that survival mode switch. And what about toxins? Things like heavy metals, pesticides, and chemicals in our food and water. These substances can directly damage cellular machinery, creating the very stress that forces cells into a defensive, proliferative state. It's not just about a single mutation. It's about creating an internal environment so hostile that cells are forced to adopt extreme measures to survive. They are, in essence, becoming fortresses. This brings us to a critical question. Why do traditional treatments, like chemotherapy and radiation, sometimes fail or lead to recurrence? These treatments are designed to be powerful weapons that destroy fast-dividing cells, and they can be incredibly effective at shrinking tumors. But if cancer is a response to a toxic internal environment, just killing the cancer cells doesn't change the environment itself. Imagine your house has a severe mold problem, and you just keep scrubbing the mold off the walls without fixing the leaky pipe that's causing it. The mold will just keep coming back. Similarly, if the underlying metabolic chaos, inflammation, and toxic load remain, the body is still in a state of crisis. This could be why cancer can sometimes return, often more aggressively. The soil is still fertile for cancer to grow. The fundamental problem, the why, hasn't been addressed. But here's where the story gets hopeful. If the internal environment is the problem, it means we have the power to change it. Our bodies have an incredible built-in defense system, our immune system. It's designed to identify and eliminate rogue cells. A healthy immune system is a formidable cancer-fighting force. The question then becomes, how do we support it? How do we change the soil to make it inhospitable for cancer and supportive for healthy cells? This is where lifestyle comes in, not as a vague wellness suggestion, but as a powerful biological intervention. Let's start with diet. Mountains of research suggest that what we eat has a profound impact. A diet rich in plant-based whole foods provides a treasure trove of anti-inflammatory compounds, antioxidants, and fiber. These nutrients help calm the fires of inflammation and support the gut microbiome, which is a key player in regulating our immune system. Conversely, a diet high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats does the opposite. Sugar in particular is a major concern. Remember how cancer cells love to use that inefficient fermentation process for energy? Well, sugar is their favorite fuel. By reducing our sugar intake, we may literally be starving these survivalist cells of their primary energy source, while our healthy cells continue to thrive on other energy pathways using fats and ketones. Then there's the emerging science of practices like intermittent fasting. By giving our body a break from constant digestion, we trigger a process called autophagy. Think of it as cellular housekeeping. The body identifies and recycles old, damaged, or dysfunctional cellular components. It's a deep cleaning process that can help eliminate precancerous cells before they have a chance to proliferate. It helps restore metabolic flexibility and reduce inflammation. We can't talk about a healthy environment without talking about stress. Chronic stress isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological state. It floods our body with hormones like cortisol, which suppresses the immune system and promotes inflammation. Finding effective ways to manage stress, whether through meditation, yoga, time in nature, or mindfulness, isn't a luxury. It's a biological necessity for creating an internal state of peace and balance, a state where our cells can thrive, not just survive. Exercise is another non-negotiable. It does more than just burn calories. It improves circulation, delivering more oxygen to your cells. This directly counters the low oxygen environment that cancer favors. It also helps regulate insulin levels, reduces inflammation, and boosts the activity of immune cells, like natural killer cells, that are on the front lines of cancer defense. And let's not forget the simple things: quality sleep and proper hydration. Sleep is when our body does its most important repair work. It's when the immune system recharges and the brain flushes out metabolic waste. Dehydration, on the other hand, puts stress on every single system in the body. Simply drinking enough water can improve cellular function and help your body flush out toxins. So, what does this all mean? It suggests that maybe, just maybe, our path forward involves a two-pronged approach. We can continue to develop smarter, more targeted weapons to attack cancer cells directly, but we must also focus on transforming the battlefield. By addressing diet, managing stress, moving our bodies, and reducing our toxic load, we can fundamentally change our internal environment. We can create a terrain that is hostile to cancer but nurturing to health. This isn't about blaming anyone for their illness. It's about empowerment. It's about understanding that our daily choices have a powerful biological impact. This perspective shifts the focus from being a passive victim of a random disease to being an active participant in creating health. It gives us agency. This is a profound shift in thinking, and it's still being explored by pioneering researchers around the world. But it offers an incredible message of hope. By understanding cancer as a desperate survival response, we can learn to create an internal world where our cells never have to make that desperate choice. We can build a body that is resilient, robust, and fundamentally inhospitable to disease. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration. If this perspective resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges the way we think about health. Share this with someone who might find it helpful. And remember, be curious. Remember, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.